Joining us today to talk about the TBS comedy series Chad, I'd like to welcome Saba Homayoon to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi Saba, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Lori.
So you've been in fan favorite shows like NCIS Los Angeles, Mistresses, Medium, and since we're taking a short trip down memory lane, you played Jenny in an episode of Charmed. Super cute character, by the way. Now, how did you start out your career as an actor?
I think I just always loved to perform from like second grade. My parents are immigrants, so like we didn't grow up with them having any sort of knowledge of the business or anything. And but they understood education, so they found acting classes and dance, and so they did what they knew to do. But I just always loved to perform, and didn't know really the steps to take. So I again just went through college and then grad school, and it wasn't until grad school that they really knew sort of the pathway to take. Moving to Los Angeles, getting an agent, but it's something that really since second grade that I knew I wanted to do.
Oh, wow. So, what was your very first paid acting gig? Did you go straight into TV and film, or did you start out in commercials?
I did not do commercials. I've actually never done commercials.
Oh,
So when
wow.
I graduated, yeah, when I graduated from grad school, I know it's really unusual, but I think I just went the theatrical route immediately. And by that, I mean TV and film, and mainly TV. So when I graduated, I immediately got an agent and manager and just really started auditioning. And within a few months, the first job I booked was on a pilot with Alicia Silverstone. It was Mismatch, and I got cut, but it was okay. But it was just starting. A lot of pilot auditions and episodic TV. Um,
Yeah, I read that, and you were in Mismatch with Alicia Silverstone, so that must be pretty awesome when you see her in Clueless. They're like, hey, I've worked with her before.
this was, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just, I had already, Clueless came out way before, but it was just, she was sort of the first like famous person, and it was definitely exciting, and I was fangirling on the inside. Um, but then it also be very quickly, you're like, oh, she's just a person, and we're both professionals, and
hmm So, what hobbies do you enjoy or side projects that you work on when you're not acting?
I am a mom. That's a pretty big
Oh, well,
side
that's full
project.
time.
That is full time, and I'm really like a full time mom. Like they're both upstairs right now, and I'll be making their lunch and their snacks later. So definitely a full time mom. But in terms of this year has been a little weird. But things we like to do, we love to go to the beach. We go on hikes. Um, I take singing lessons, for fun, and that's my self care. But um, yeah, so my world is sort of wrapped around my children right now.
Now, the TBS comedy series Chad, you play Naz, Chad's mom. Now, tell me a little bit about this series and what caught your interest in doing this show.
Um, so it's a comedy about a 14-year-old Persian boy who is desperately trying to fit in and find where he belongs in high school. Um, I remember vividly the first time. It was my first audition back after having my second child, and it was the very first one. And I remember reading it and laughing hysterically. And laughing and being like, oh my god, this is amazing, and I have to do this because it is so relatable universally, but it's also it felt like I was reading about my own family. And so for me it was just so funny, and also special.
Okay, so one of the things that the character Chad has to get used to is his mom dating. Now, what can you tell us about the men that your character dates in this show?
Well, so far it's only one.
Oh, okay,
um,
okay.
and he didn't handle it too well. Uh, which I can understand. You know, he's kind of like been the man of the house. And so to suddenly have um, this guy, but then when he turns out to be really cool and like awesome, um, Chad's perspective changes a little bit, but it definitely makes for some hilarious comedy and funny situations.
Chad is played by Nasim Pedrad, who is also the creator, executive producer, and showrunner. What's it like behind the scenes? I'd imagine that it's probably difficult to keep a straight face sometimes.
Um, Oddly enough, it is. She is hysterical on set. There's a lot of improvisation, and my job is really to just be like almost like a sounding board. I'm always going to react naturally and realistically to the situation. Um, but she's so believable as this 14-year-old boy that honest to God, I didn't break. I only broke like a few times. And I don't know how. Like honestly, I don't know how because she is so funny. And because when I would be off stage watching her do a scene, I'm like laughing and giggling and trying to be quiet as others are acting. But for whatever reason, when I was in a scene, it's just so she's so vulnerable underneath it all that you just feel so much for the character.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, great work, and I'm very much looking forward to what's coming next. Everyone, you can watch more of Saba in the TBS comedy series Chad.
Thank you.
You take care, Saba.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was so nice.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.